And next I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker today, R.J. Palmer, Senior Vice President of Compass Municipal Advisors. R.J. provides advisory service to cities and counties, water and sewer districts, health districts, and other special taxing districts throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Mr. Palmer's experience includes a variety of financial structures and investment strategies. Until 2015, R.J. served as the state senator representing Senate District 28, which includes Clark, Montgomery, and portions of Fayette counties. In 2010, he was chosen by his colleagues as Senate Minority Floor Leader. Prior to the Senate post, R.J. served in the Kentucky House from 1999 to 2001. R.J. received a BA from the Transylvania University and an MBA from Eastern Kentucky University. In addition, he has obtained a series of 50 qualifications by the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board and is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Palmer.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I appreciate the invitation. I want to say thank you to Mr. Shaw and the staff of GRADD also for facilitating my visit. And I must tell you, I appreciate your willingness to serve. But as for me, I'm glad to be here with you today and not in Frankfurt in the legislative session. So, as the chair said, my name is R.J. Palmer. I work with Compass Municipal Advisors in offices in Lexington, Louisville, and actually Columbia, South Carolina. But my purpose today is to come and talk to you a little bit about the GRADD Financing Trust. How many of you all have ever heard of the Kentucky Council of Area Development Districts Financing Trust? Mr. Conrad? Not very many. So I'm a ringer. I guess that shows that my visit is appropriate to kind of remind you of what the GRADD is. A little history. The GRADD financing program was created in 1996. It has offered over $250 million of funding for programs, small to medium-sized municipal projects. Programs are designed to allow borrowers to obtain similar benefits as those issuing municipal bonds, including, as you can see, flexible terms, local participation, low issuance cost, and flexibility. The program, though started in '96, about 10 years ago, because of changes within the industry, kind of became dormant. And we at Compass kept looking at the program thinking there has to be a way that we can make this work again. Because we saw the need, particularly for the credit enhancement that comes with the program for our local communities and governments to access the capital market, and this was a good tool. So about 2 years ago, we were finally able to figure out a way to revive the program and make it accessible again for cities, counties, special SPGEs to access the capital market. We have since executed about 5 deals through the program, and we found it to be very beneficial. So I'm here today to remind you, this is your program. We simply are the program administrators. This was created by the Council of Ads, created for your benefit and for your use. Again, the program provides a AA- credit rating. I always hesitate when I say this, but that actually now carries the same credit rating as the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So obviously, for some of our smaller counties and cities, this gives them the availability to access the credit market at nearly the same rates as the state does. You have the ability to structure deals from 1 year to 30 years. They're fixed rates for the entire term. We have the ability as the program administrator and the advisor to the program to work with the borrower, whether it's a city, a county, or a utility district, to look at their existing debt, their existing revenue streams, and to wrap the debt around existing debt, to accelerate it if you want to pay it off quicker, or to make it level throughout the entire term. Again, 1 to 30 years, depending on the priorities and the needs of the borrower. Also has a 10-year optional prepayment. Oftentimes, some people say, well, we don't want to be stuck for more than 10 years. Well, you don't. We can set the call date or the prepayment date at a 10-year anniversary. Then you can look at refinancing or paying off, whatever the case may be. Standardized documentation for the program. Limited disclosure. I'm almost ready to take this out of the slide because disclosure is such an important issue now within the regulatory environment of municipal borrowings that if you're not up to date on your disclosure or your audits, oftentimes what we see is that the underwriting firms, the people who purchase your debt, who actually loan you the money, if you don't have the required financial disclosures in a timely manner, they won't bid on your deal. Obviously, the more people that we have to bid on a debt issuance, the more competition, the thought would be the lower the cost of capital for you, which at the end of the day, my fiduciary obligation is to try to advise you so that you achieve that lowest cost of capital for your project. Back up here real quick. I want to tell you quickly also one of the other programs that we're working on is a short-term program. The other thing that we have identified throughout our communities and our talking with our clients is the need for a short-term program. Now you may say, well, you say you can go from 1 to 30 years, but that type of bond issue is typically for a bigger project, $1 million, $1.5 million or more. If you're less than that for, say, equipment needs, and your debt horizon is 2 to 5 years, it doesn't really fit real well into this program. We're currently working with bond counsel and some of our clients to see if we can adapt the program to make it accessible for those short-term, typically equipment borrowing needs that our clients have. I hope to have some additional news on that in the not too distant future, which we'll obviously will share with the folks at GRADD. I want to tell you a little bit about Compass. Again, Municipal Advisory Service, who is licensed and regulated by the MSRB and the SEC, located in Lexington with offices in Louisville and Columbia, South Carolina. It's a little graph on the right. It's a little hard to read, but that is an industry publication of the top 10 issuers of municipal debt in the southeast region of the United States. You can see that Compass was ranked number 9. We're also the only firm in Kentucky who made that list. We're very proud of that. I think it speaks to our innovation and the way that we attempt to work with our clients to understand their needs and to come up with the most positive debt structure for whatever project it is that they are attempting to finance. Also very proud of the fact that we are the municipal advisor for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They have more than one, but we serve for a number of their programs. What's our role as a financial advisor? First of all, we have a fiduciary duty to you, the borrower, a duty of care and loyalty. So again, I'm licensed and regulated. Regulators are going to look at all the deals that we have done over a 2 to 5 year period. They'll come in and review those to make sure that we're giving sound financial advice to you as a municipal entity who's looking to borrow money in the capital market. So in order to do that, we want to facilitate all aspects of the financing. Again, the structuring of it, trying to determine the lowest cost of capital possible, a feasibility analysis to make sure that this is something that the municipality can afford to undertake. And then if not, we have a fiduciary duty to share that with you and then discuss, obviously, revenue measures if that's something that potentially the municipality would consider. Any number of aspects of this procedure, we want to partner with you so that, again, we come up with the best structure to meet the need. Some best practices. As we talked earlier about the regulatory environment, some things that you as a municipality or governmental entity can do in anticipation of issuing debt. People who review municipal debt like to see some of these best practices. Capital planning. To put in place a capital plan, a long-term capital plan. Not just about the next project that you want to build, but what are we looking at over a 5-year horizon? How does that impact our budget? Financial planning. 5-year forecast of revenues, expenses, and how those long-term projects, again, fit into that plan. It's also good to have policies as related to reserves and liquidity. Debt management, continuing disclosure, again, is a very big one. An investment management policy. We also offer services to invest funds of public entities that comply with state statute. Again, one of the things that we've seen in working with our clients is that oftentimes, particularly in smaller communities, you have a hard time finding financial institutions that are willing to collateralize your deposits to meet the requirements of state law. And we see that the returns on those investments are lower. We recently were hired to do the investment portfolio for the Rupp Arena renovation project. So we invested $190 million of that money in state and governmental securities that they could use on that project. We have the ability to do that for you as well. Again, trying to bring innovation to this area, municipal borrowing. We represent the Kentucky Area Development Districts, South Carolina Association of Governmental Organizations, and the Kentucky Association of Counties. I know that's kind of quick disclosure. Again, regulatory, I have to tell you, here's what I have to disclose to you. And you can go look me up on our website or any other website that the SEC has and check out me or our firm. Anybody have any questions? It's a lot of information and kind of quick. But we're happy to assist you if you've got something you want to consider, how it may, again, impact your budget. We can sit down with you, go through your expenses and your revenue, see how the project fits into your budget over a long-term horizon, and again, try to help you achieve the lowest cost of capital possible to move your project forward.
You speak of some specific projects and other locations, and you say now or in the past or something, so they kind of associate, with the media.
Yeah, well, some of the projects we're working on in the area I don't think are readily disclosed yet. We have helped Judge Henderson, for instance, actually defease some of his bonds or pay them off. There is a call requirement, as we talked about, that if the bonds are not callable, there is still a way to legally pay them off by investing those dollars in an escrow account and then paying them off. But we've done that most recently, I think, in your area. And we've met with Judge O'Nan about some interest that he has. But again, I think some of those projects aren't ready to move yet. But we're happy to discuss those.
Could be water source facilities or library or the community buildings or
correct.
Anything.
Yes. We've recently met with the Hancock Library District. We've also found that the program fits very well with water and sewer utilities. Most of our smaller utilities throughout the entire Commonwealth don't have the ability to access the capital market on their own because they can't achieve the credit rating. Again, with the program, you have the ability to access the market at a AA- credit rating. We've worked with hospitals throughout the Commonwealth and extension districts, health departments, basically anything that is a governmental or even a quasi-governmental entity will fit into the program. I think we passed out as well a little flyer with some information on it. On the back of that flyer is a sample application. Obviously, that's not all the information that we would need to conduct a transaction for you, but it is all we need to get started. So if there's something you're interested in, I will be around for the rest of the meeting. Be happy to discuss it with you. And again, I appreciate the invitation and your hospitality.